The Big 12. What changes have taken place within the Midwest Conference? Well, OU and Texas are out. Colts Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes are back in, among other schools. So, we'll take a look at the new Big 12 right here on Bearing Down the Gridiron.
I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing on this day? August 14, 2024. It is episode 2 for Bearing Down the Gridiron as we are previewing each conference, the Power 4 conferences that is. And as you've seen in the opening, we're going to the Midwest. We are going to Big 12 country because that's what we're going to go to next. So looking forward to seeing the breakdown of Big 12, Utah, Arizona State, Colorado, all within the Big 12. When the Big 12 has suspended from literally almost the West Coast to the East Coast, because you do have schools like UCF still in there, Cincinnati in there, and stuff like that. No OU in Texas in the Big 12, which is going to be the first odd thing to see when it comes to this conference realignment. When you see OU in Texas and they have an SEC pack, but that's in 2 weeks. That's going into week 1. We're talking Big 12. All right. So I hope y'all ready. Hope y'all enjoyed my ACC preview. And just to recap on that real quick, I did pick the Florida State Seminoles to go back-to-back ACC champions. And as a Gator fan, I probably broke some rules to get a nation, but I am a unbiased person when I do my podcasts. Okay. This is how I decide to do my shows, to be unbiased, to be fair and objective. All right. But we'll get into that. But those of you who are new, who didn't see the last season's show, I'm going to break down the conferences. Last week it was the ACC, this week's the Big 12. But before I do that, I have some news and notes. So we're going to get into that with the 2-minute drill right now. And to begin our 2-minute drill segment, injured Texas A&M running back Ruben Owens will miss the season. Texas A&M running back is expected to miss the season after suffering a significant lower body injury during the scrimmage on Saturday this past weekend. Owens produced 743 all-purpose yards and 3 touchdowns and earned all SEC freshman honors during his true freshman season last year in 2023. It is a shame that he has suffered his injury, that he'll be missed for the season. But as they normally say in football, next man up, you have no choice. Amari Daniels, it will be the next man on the docket. You have junior running back Le'Veon Moss, and then you have Stanford grad transfer E.J. Smith, the son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith, available on the roster for the backfield of the Texas A&M Aggies. Hopefully nothing else happens when we get to preview the SEC in 2 weeks. But that's a shame, and get well and have a full recovery, sir. Moving on, the NCAA decided on August 7th to hand Jim Harbaugh 4-year showcase for recruiting violations. All right. This was back on August 7th. The NCAA announced a 4-year showcase order for former Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh on past Wednesday for impermissible contact with recruits and players while access was restricted during COVID-19 pandemic, effectively banning him from college athletics until August of 2028. So essentially, he's suspended until 2028 if he even wants to come back to college football because he got what he wanted. He's a national championship coach at his alma mater of Michigan. Now he's going back to the NFL so he can catch the elusive Super Bowl, or in this case, the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Nevertheless, this is what they did. Instead of what they said, Harbaugh, who left his alma mater to coach the Los Angeles Chargers after last season that championship game, eager to engage in unethical conduct, failed to promote an atmosphere of compliance and violated head coach responsibility obligations. The NCAA had already put Michigan on a 3-year probation along with a fine and recruiting limits after reaching a negotiated resolution in the case. Harbaugh did not go along with the agreement, disputing allegations he failed to cooperate with investigators, so his case was handled separately. The panel noted that Harbaugh intentional disregard of NCAA legislations and unethical conduct amplified the severity of the case and promptly the panel to classify Harbaugh's case as level 1 aggravated, with penalties to include a 4-year showcase order. Submits in the showcase orders is in 1 season suspension for Harbaugh, the NCAA said. Y'all still want to pick on Michigan? You still want to pick on Harbaugh because you didn't win? Because you didn't have the balls, as my good friend Cole Johnson has said plenty of times to the NCAA, to handle it to begin with in the first place. Now that man has won a national championship, and he has left college football. Okay? Which is laughable, like you see on the screen here, those who are watching on YouTube. Farmball blasts laughable NCAA for Jim Harbaugh suspension. That man doesn't care anymore. He's done what he wanted to do. He's a national champion. You can't take that from him. He has won the national championship. You can't take away the confetti, the holding up the trophy. You can't even do that. That would be forever etched in his memory. He is a champion as a coach, and yet you can't get over it because you ain't have the balls to handle it to begin with. Nah, you want to hit him on the wrist with a little. Okay, you suspended for the 3 games, and then still didn't come up with an investigation. And you had the Big Ten come out and suspend him for the last 3 games. Still didn't stop Michigan from making the playoffs. Still didn't stop Michigan from being the number 1 team in the land and going on to win the national championship. But y'all still want to continue to come at Michigan, to come at Jim Harbaugh. Y'all lost. Deal with it. If you'd have did your job in the beginning with, in the first place, you wouldn't be having this problem. But you didn't. So get over it. You lost. And speaking of which, Michigan fired back in a funny way, which I love. So even though Jim Harbaugh suspended, Jim Harbaugh to be Michigan's honorary captain for opener. That was 2 days after the NCAA said what they said about the whole 4-year showcase with Jim Harbaugh. So when August 31st gets here, ladies and gentlemen, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, when the Michigan Wolverines open up their title defense against Fresno State, the honorary captain would be none other than the former head coach himself, Jim Harbaugh. So Jim Harbaugh will be making his way back to Ann Arbor, Michigan at the end of the month to help kick off the title defense for the Michigan Wolverines as they take on the Fresno State Bulldogs. A little Mountain West Big Ten action to kick off the season for the Sharon Moore's tenured, which is great. I love Michigan for doing that. I really do. Yeah, throw it right back in the NCAA face. Oh, yeah, y'all suspended him so he can't come back and coach. But guess what? You can't stop him from being the honorary captain. Come on back, Jim Harbaugh, as we open up this title defense. Go ahead and let the people see you one more time in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Love it. I absolutely love it, okay? NCAA is getting on my freaking nerves. They're getting on a lot of people's nerves because they don't know how to act. They don't know how to govern. They don't know how to govern the sport of college football whatsoever. This is why we're in the midst that we're in when it comes to collegiate athletics right now, because the NCAA has been absolutely terrible, horrible with the stuff that they are trying to do. Good job, Michigan. Very good job. I'm proud of y'all for doing that. All right. Now, we are previewing the Big 12, but before we do, Deion Sanders, college prime, spars with media in testy Colorado presser. Hmm. This happened on the 9th, down in Boulder, Colorado, as Coach Prime got to meet with the media from the Big 12. Deion Coach Prime Sanders kicked off his second season at Colorado with a combatant news conference Friday, when he also celebrated his 57th birthday and became a grandfather. So congratulations to becoming a grandfather, Coach Prime. Happy belated birthday, Coach Prime. Donning his signature shades and a Buffalo's baseball cap, Sanders started things by thanking the person who left their card in several packages of fried pastries at the microphone. Trying to get my six pack, I can't eat these honey buns. Close quote. Well, quote. I should say quote. Trying to get my six pack. I can't eat these honey buns. Close quote. As he cracked up with the light moods in the press conference that was 30 minutes long. Now, it was a very interesting exchange with Deion Sanders. As we all seen, Deion Sanders is a personality. We all know this. But, there's some things Coach Prime just doesn't take. Like this, quote, what does boaster mean? Suggesting improve was a better term because I don't know all that boaster stuff. I've never used that in a sentence. Let's say that we improved our offensive line. When a reporter was asking him a question how about the bolster of the offensive line that they did, because the offensive line was terrible last season, so they had to do something with the offensive line. He didn't like the word bolster. He liked to use the word upgrade or improved. Trying to be formal is Coach Prime, but that's what they do. But that wasn't the only thing he had to say. He had to say, quote, that's why I don't have time for this foolishness. That's how good God is. That God would chose me on my birthday for my daughter to have to have her first child, should I say. The first time I am a grandfather on my birthday. Like I said, congratulations to you, Coach Prime. Very interesting 30-minute interview with the media up in Boulder, Colorado. But hey, more to come when it comes to Colorado and the Big 12, as we will preview that in our next segment. But before we do that, the AP poll has been released. It was released yesterday around about 20 minutes after the noon time. And Pat McAfee got to break it down and all that good stuff on the Pat McAfee show. Georgia, number 1. Ohio State, number 2. And preseason AP top 25. This is a very interesting list, but as I like to do, I like to give you the visuals. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, those who are listening to this those who are going to be listening to this on Real Rise Radio on Saturday morning. Hopefully you will have the list by then and know it, but just in case you need a refresher when Saturday gets here. Georgia number 1, Ohio State number 2, Oregon comes in at number 3, Texas comes in at number 4, Alabama at 5. You got an Ole Miss at 6, Notre Dame at 7, Penn State at 8, Michigan at 9, and running out the top 10 is the Florida State Seminoles. All right. So those of you who are looking, you see the rest of the top 25. Those of you who are listening to the Real Rise Radio on Saturday, I'm just going to break it down to you like this. The SEC, the Southeastern Conference, has 9 teams in the preseason top 4, which is the most going into the season. The Big 10 is next with 6, followed by the Big 12 with 5, and then the ACC with 4. If you're doing them out, that is 24 of the 25 slots. The only team that's not in the conference or not in the big and not in the Power 4 conference, well, they're not in the conference period, will be Notre Dame, who is ranked number 7th. All right. Now, you're probably asking yourself, 9 teams from the ACC? Yep, you have Georgia at number 1, Texas at number 4, Alabama 5, Ole Miss 6, okay? Missouri comes in at 7, LSU is at 13, Tennessee is at 15, OU is at 16, Texas A&M rounds it out at 20. Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, Missouri, LSU, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M. Those are your 9 teams from the SEC that are ranked in the top 25. Okay. For those who are Big Ten fans, your 6 teams are Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Michigan. Then you have USC and Iowa. Iowa is ranked at 25. USC is ranked at 23. Okay. And then the Big 12, who are beginning to next after the commercial break that's coming up. Your highest ranked team is, let's see, the Utah Utes at number 12. Then you follow it up with Oklahoma State at 17, Kansas State at 18. You have Arizona at 21. And you finish it off with the Kansas Jayhawks at 22. So that's where we stand when it comes to the Big 12 and the AP Top 25. But like I said, we'll be previewing the Big 12 Conference after this commercial break.
I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central.
Shop hats and official sports gear at Liz. Liz is the leader and #1 destination for hats, gears, and everything that moves you, making it the perfect shop for fans to find official sports hats, merchandise, and gear. Represent your team, your town, and your style with a snapback adjustable fitted hat or beanie from thousands of college and pro teams. Browse the very latest sports jerseys and t-shirts from the best teams out there. Liz has officially licensed professional and college sport team apparel and hats featuring the hottest brands and trends. Shop online or visit one of the 100 stores across the country. Locker Rooms by Liz.
Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast. Every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets. Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kermit the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. on YouTube and where you can find all podcasts. Rams fans all around the world.
It's a beautiful thing to be a Rams fan right now. Stafford's back. We will see about Cup. And running back Kerryon Williams to return.
Lend me your ears, or should I say lend Playmaker your ears, as he breaks down week by week everything in the Los Angeles Rams canon.
Number 99, Aaron Donald. Can't wait for 2029 to come to know that you are going in the Hall of Fame, and it should be first ballot, no questions asked.
Join the Playmaker as he breaks down everything Los Angeles Rams style in Ramily Talk on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bearing Down the Gridiron. Before I get to the Big 12, y'all saw the commercial of Ramily Talk. Ramily Talk returns tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, August 15th on Thursday, August 15th. And season preview as I do. Season 5 of Ramily Talk. I can't believe I'm doing 5 seasons. I'm talking about my favorite NFL team, the Los Angeles Rams. It's been a pleasure, the ups and downs. Season 2 was a Super Bowl season. Then season 3 was the disappointing season. Then last season 4 was great. It was a good season when a lot of people didn't have what's doing much, but we made it to the playoffs, ultimately losing to the Detroit Lions in the wild card round, in which that'll be the first game I preview on tomorrow, as I'll be doing weeks 1 through 5, because the Rams have an early bye week. They have a week 6 bye week. So the first episode for season 5, well, I should say the third episode, because I did the draft and I did another episode of Aaron Donald retiring. So the third episode of season 5 would be the beginning of the season preview, weeks 1 through 5. So all my LA Rams fans be on the lookout for that dropping tomorrow on Thursday, as we get ready to hear. And before I get into that, we have the tick in the bottom of the screen showing all the sponsors with Fanatics, Liz, and Paramount Plus. And speaking with Fanatics, as I go here, share my screen, you got 2 deals. One is on the ticket where you get free shipping in the United States with orders over $24. That would be LIDS24. But those of you who are watching on YouTube, 25% off site wide using the promo code CROWNS, CROWNS. As you can see here, 25% off site wide. You can get you some Nike Air Max with your favorite college team, or Georgia, Alabama, Michigan. Then you got the hats, you got the summer wear, as we are just 10 days away, should I say, before week 0, where Georgia Tech and Florida State will get it kicked off out in Dublin, Ireland. Looking forward to that one. So I think I'll be previewing that game next week, if I remember correctly. So that should be fun. All right. But now let's get to it. We are previewing the Big 12 Conference, and a lot of changes took place when it comes to the Big 12 Conference. So let's get to it. All right. As we begin our preview of the Big 12 Conference, we have new teams here. This is the brand new Big 12 Conference. All right. Arizona State, Colorado, Utah officially joined after the 1 year after BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF joined the previous year. No Oklahoma, no Texas in there. So this is the look. Take a good look, people. This is the new Big 12 Conference as it stands right here, right now. There have been no inquiry of any changes going into next year. So for at least right now in 2025, 2026, this is your conference if you are a Big 12 fan. Now, as we said, Texas Longhorns, your 2023 Big 12 champions, on their way out. That was their final year in the conference. As I said numerous times, say it one more time. OU Texas are out as they joined the Southeastern Conference, and I'll be getting to them in 2 weeks. And obviously, you see the new 4 teams in the conference with Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah. All right. Big 12 Media Day took place in about 2 weeks ago in Dallas. Or was it Dallas or Las Vegas? Las Vegas, okay. Las Vegas. And the Utah Utes, the new member of the Big 12, is favored to win the Big 12 with Kansas State second, Oklahoma State third. And Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes picked 11th in the standings. Picked 11. It's quite interesting. They picked 11. And those of you who want to see the Big 12 board, as you can see right here, the Utah Utes got 20 of the first place votes, followed by Kansas State with 19. Oklahoma State got 14. Kansas sitting number 4 in the Big 12 media poll with 5 first place votes. And the Arizona Wildcats round out the top 5. And then all the way down at 11, you see Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes sitting behind TCU, Texas Tech, UCF, West Virginia, and Iowa State. Very interesting that Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes were picked 11th. I guess people are not a believer yet in Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes, so they're going to have to make some things happen in that scenario. Now, as we continue on here, sorry about that. As we normally do here, we take the top 5 teams that the media poll says, and we break it down by schedule. All right. So as we look at the Utah the favorites to win the Big 12, should I say, and their key games featuring week 2, right out the gate. Week 2, September 7th, their first Big 12 game at home in Salt Lake City against the Baylor Bears. All right. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how that game goes, as they are official members of the Big 12 now, and I'm pretty sure Baylor wants some payback of what happened last year when the Utah Utes went up there and they skulk away in Waco, Texas, with a narrow win against the Baylor Bears. So that's going to be fun to watch. Then September 21st, they go to Stillwater, Oklahoma, to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. That should be a fun game to watch in Stillwater. And then the week after, they host Arizona, one of the other new members of the Big 12. Then we're going to go all the way down to November 9th, the day after my birthday. The Holy War is still in commits, ladies and gentlemen. Now it is a Holy Big 12 War, should I say, as BYU and Utah both in the Big 12 now. So they are officially conference rivals, and not just rivals now. They are the full-blown rivals at this moment in time. So the Big 12 Holy War would be November 9th, all right? And then the week after, they head to Boulder, Colorado to take on Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. And then they'll finish off their campaign for the Big 12 with a trip down to Orlando, Florida against the UCF Knights, all right? That is the Utah's key games. Let's go to Kansas State's key games, the 2022 Big Ten champions, all right? They face a good Tulane team on the second week of the season on September 7th. It's in Manhattan, Kansas, so I like Kansas State chances in that one at home, but a good Tulane team coming out of the American Conference. Then the following week, they host the Arizona Wildcats. That's something interesting to see. I do believe, would that be Arizona's first Big 12 game? Now that I'm thinking about it. Let me see if I can find Arizona. I want to see if that's their first Big 10 game. I mean, Big 12 game. I don't know why I keep saying Big 10, Big 12 game of this season. Let's see here. As I'm looking at the schedule, yes, that would be Arizona's first Big 12 game. Very interesting. Right out the gate, coming out tested. I like it. And then the Kansas State Wildcats, they head to BYU for a showdown on September 21st before they head home to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys on the 28th of September. October 12th, they head to Boulder, Colorado to take on Coach Prime and the Buffaloes. And then we all know when it comes to Kansas, there's only one rivalry with them, and that is the Sunflower Battle between Kansas and Kansas State. That game would be in Manhattan, Kansas, instead of forgot forgot what city the Kansas Jayhawks are in. It'll come back to me at some point in time, but it's in Manhattan, Kansas, so the Kansas State Wildcats will be the home team on this one. And those are their key games. Key games for the Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. All right. I must say this when it comes to Oklahoma State. It's been a couple of times that I have picked y'all to win the Big 12. Last year being the one of them. And somehow, some of y'all just can't get it done. I don't know what it is. If anybody that's listening to this, or you listen to the replay, or you listen to Real Rise Radio, or any other podcast platforms that you listen to, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, whatever the case may be. Somebody asked me why Mike Gundy having a hard time getting over the hump. Why can't Mike Gundy, be a consistent guy to win the Big 12? I do believe he won it once, but that's like the only time he won it. I mean, I don't even remember what year he won it, to be honest. If I'm being completely honest, I don't even remember what year he won it. But why is it he cannot win the Big 12 Conference when he's supposed to win the Big 12 Conference? He make a lot of noise, but cannot be a Big 12 champion. It is a shame for Mike Gundy to be the head coach of Oklahoma State for this long, to be relevant for this long, and doesn't have a workable number for Big 12 titles. Just a question. That's a question. But nevertheless, September 7th, SEC Big Ten battle as Arkansas comes walking into Stillwater, Colorado to take on the Cowboys. And then 2 weeks after that, their next key game for me is at home in Stillwater against the Utah Utes, who have a Big 12 game already under their belt when they play Baylor in week 2. So week 4, it'll be interesting between Oklahoma State and Utah. And then the week after, they go to Manhattan, Kansas to take on the Kansas State Wildcats. And then October 18th, their next key game would be at BYU. Provo, Utah would be rocking and rolling for that game. And then November 9th, they head to TCU, Fort Worth, Texas to take on the Horned Frogs. And then since they don't play Oklahoma like they normally do for Bedlam, that game has been replaced with a trip to Boulder, Colorado to take on Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. That's going to be an interesting game. Depending on what Oklahoma State stands at when it comes to the Big 12 standing, that could be a very interesting game for Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy. And Mike Gundy going against Deion Sanders is kind of intriguing for me. 2 head coaches. We already know about Coach Prime. We've been knew what kind of personality Mike Gundy has. So having those 2 guys on opposite sides at the end of the season, looking forward to that little exchange there that week. November 29th, Thanksgiving weekend. I'm looking forward to that one, if I'm being completely honest. All right. Those are the key games for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Key games for the Kansas Jayhawks, who are sitting 4th. Who were picked 4th in the poll by the Big 12 media. We got a Big 10, Big 12 showdown. Champaign, Illinois, as the Jayhawks will head to Illinois to take on the Fighting Illini in week 2 of the season. And then 2 weeks after that, actually, you know what? There's a typo on our part here. That game is, if I remember correctly, that game at West Virginia is the following week after that. And then 9/21, the week after, is the matchup against TCU. So typo on our production team, but hey, we'll get it right. Nope. So 9/21 is at West Virginia, and 9/28 is home to TCU. So the 21st is at West Virginia. The 28th is home to TCU. Sorry for that mistake, but we will correct it here or live on air, whatever the case may be. And then October 26th is the Sunflower Showdown. As I said when I did you the key games for Kansas State, as Kansas we had the Manhattan to take on the Wildcats. November 16th, a trip to Provo to take on the BYU Cougars. I'm looking forward to that game. Interesting styles and matchups for that one. November 23rd, the weekend before Thanksgiving week, they host Colorado, and then November 30th, the weekend after Thanksgiving, they head to Baylor in Waco, Texas. So Kansas picked 4th, and if they can get through this schedule with these key games, I can see why they will be ranked. They'll be 4th. maybe third. You never know. It depends on what Kansas State and Oklahoma State look. We don't even know. We don't even know how Utah's gonna look in their first season in the Big 12. Speaking of first season, the team that was picked fifth in the Big 12 Media Pro was the Arizona Wildcats. Very interesting, by the way. Haven't heard a lot about the Arizona Wildcats, so a very interesting move to put them at number 5. And with them, they get as we noted today, they'll get their Big 12 taste started on September 13th when they go to Manhattan to take on the Kansas State Wildcats. And then on the 28th of September, they head to Salt Lake City to take on the Utah Utes. We're doing a Pac-12 rivalry now in the Big 12. It's just interesting. And then October begins with a visit from Texas Tech University. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Because anything we know about Texas Tech, they like to run and gun. They like to throw it all around the yard. So I want to see how Arizona's defense will handle this type of offense. Before they head to BYU on October 12th, a visit from Colorado on October 19th, renewing their Pac-12 rivalry into the Big 12. A trip to Fort Worth, Texas in late part of November, the weekend before Thanksgiving at TCU. And then they're finished their season, as they normally do in the Pac-12. They'll do the same thing in the Big 12 with an in-state rivalry against Arizona State in Tempe, Arizona. So Arizona would be the home team, while the Sun Devils would be the visiting team. Now, before I continue on, I do have Colorado's schedule right in front of me here. So they'll open up the season at home in Boulder, Colorado on Thursday, August 29th against North Dakota State. That is not an easy game for Coach Prime in Colorado. Very interesting tactic here, okay, that we are seeing here. So let me take this down real quick and talk about Colorado. It's going to be very interesting to see how Coach Prime prepare his guys to go up against North Dakota State, because North Dakota State is one of the teams you do not want to get caught. They might be, a FCS school, but we don't take North Dakota State very lightly. All right, so that's how Coach Prime is going to open up his Big 12 season with a visit from one of the top FCS schools in North Dakota State. And then we're going to renew the rivalry between Colorado and Nebraska. This time it's going to be at Nebraska on September 7th. And then the in-state rivalry with Colorado State at Colorado State. This will be at Colorado State, September 14th. That game will be live on television on CBS. Those of you don't remember, CBS now covers the Big 10 and the Big 12 now. Wow, the SEC is on ABC and ESPN now, so a lot of changes. Also, the Big 10, when I get to the Big 10, they're also on NBC too, but I'll give you all that next week when I preview the Big 10. Another key game for Coach Prime would be at home on the 21st of August when they host the Baylor Bears. That will set them up, give them a week off before. The week after they come to Orlando, September 28th, to take on the UCF Knights. Then they take a bye week before they have the Kansas State Wildcats come to Boulder, Colorado on October 12th. They go to Arizona October 19th. They host Cincinnati October 26th. They go to Lubbock, Texas, November 9th to take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders before Utah comes walking to Boulder, Colorado to renew their Pac-12 rivalry into the Big 12. Before they head to Kansas to take on the Kansas Jayhawks on November 23rd. And then they'll finish off their season the day after Thanksgiving, November 29th, when Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy comes walking in. So pretty interesting schedule. I don't see no easy games for Coach Prime in Colorado. You would like to say that Colorado easiest game is North Dakota State, but they are 9-point favorite against Colorado State. Those of you who are bettors and gamblers, I'm looking at the ESPN bet odds, and as of right now on August 14th, 2024, literally 2 weeks before Colorado faces off with North Dakota State, they are a 9-point favorite against North Dakota State. ESPN is showing some respect to North Dakota State Bisons. I hope Coach Brown and Colorado do the same thing and don't take this game for lightly. They got Nebraska. Not going to be easy game. Colorado State is a rivalry game. Wins rivalry games ever easy. Baylor's going to be interesting. Kansas State, that's a test. UCF is a test. They really don't have an easy dub on a schedule. That's what I'm saying. Coach Brown, they don't have an easy dub, so you're going to have to work your way to get you some W's, sure? That's all I'm saying. You gotta work your way to get you some dubs. That's all I'm saying. All right. Now, with that being said, I do have to give you my pick who's going to win it. And for the second week in a row, I agree with the media. As I look at these, I'm rolling with the Utah Utes because they are coming off a hell of a season. Most of their starters from last year are coming back on both sides of the ball, so they really didn't lose a lot. They still have their head coach, so why not roll with the Utah Utes on this one? And, now, is it a slap in the face of Kansas State and Oklahoma State? Yeah, it is. But hey, Mike Gundy, show me something. I picked you last year, okay? Because I knew people was gonna pick Texas. I knew people was gonna pick Oklahoma. I'm like, I'm gonna go Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State always find a way in there. And this should be the year that they get. And guess what? You failed. You choked 3 damn games, Mike Gundy. And Texas A&M, not Texas A&M, but Texas Longhorns got to walk out the Big 12 as Big 12 champions into the SEC. So yes, Mike Gundy, until you prove to me you can win the big games, I got to stop picking you. Okay, I got to. I have to stop. All right, Kansas State, you won it 2 years ago. Then you fell off. You fell off a bit last year. Can you get back to where you was last year? I mean, 2 years ago. Got to see. But I'm taking the newcomer. I am taking the Utah Utes coming in with Kim Wisenhunt as the head coach, and they will find a way to win the Big 12. All right. And to give you a recap, I am on the Florida State Seminoles, which is very disrespectful to my Florida Gators. But as I said at the beginning, when I do my shows, I am unbiased, I am fair, and I am objective. All right. So yes, I could have picked Clemson. But the fact that was having so many problems with recruiting and the transfer portal and all this other stuff, he gives me no hope to say that Clemson is going to reclaim their throne. So I'm going to roll with Florida State. And I'm going to see if Mike Norwell and the Florida State team are going to play with some edge this year because how they felt slighted of not making the college football playoffs. And then give me money walk by the Georgia Bulldogs in the Orange Bowl. So I'm looking to see how they're going to start their season. But I'm rolling with Florida State, despite being a Florida Gator fan. And I'm picking the Utah Utes to, handle business, do their thing, and come out of the Big 12 as, champions. And because, hey, why not? Why not do something, outside the box? Even though I'm sticking with the media and what the case may be. I'm with the media on this one. So 2 for 2 with the media. 2 for 2. Can't be mad at them. 2 for 2 with them, and it is what it is. All right. So with that being said, that will do it for this episode of Bearing Down the Gridiron. Next week, we go into the Big XI Conference, where the reigning defending national champions reside in the Michigan Wolverines. And the post-Harbaugh era begins. Ryan Day might have his best shot to finally capture that elusive national championship now that Harbaugh is left. But you have newcomers from the Pac-12, and we ain't talking about any newcomer. We're talking about the heavy hitters from the Pac-12. That will be next Wednesday for this show. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening. If you're listening on whatever platform there is that may be, maybe it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or whatever else you listen to podcasts, go ahead and subscribe to the show as we inch closer and closer to the start of the college football season, especially with week 0 between Florida State and Georgia Tech out in Dublin, Ireland. Also, you'll be listening to Bearing Down the Gridiron on the Real Wise Radio, Saturday mornings, 11 a.m., leading you up to the kickoff when the college football season actually does kick off. You also can listen to Bearing Down the Gridiron on 502 American Angel out in Indiana on Fridays right after Shooting Lights Out, which I'm very thankful to have 2 of my shows on both areas of 502 Angel Radio and Will Rise Radio. So shout out to my brother Wise and Healthy for bringing back his radio station and allowing me to put some shows on there to out there in the northeast corner, would be in the New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania area. That area, I'm very thankful for him. Very thankful for If I Were to American Angel out in Indiana, getting me up there in the Midwest area as well. And then those of you who are watching on YouTube, so hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so that every time we come at you for Bearing Down the Gridiron to talk college football, you can be right there listening and watching as we do what we do here at the Playmakers Blog. All right. Until next week, y'all enjoy and be patient. We're almost there. We almost got college football kicking off. Next week, we talk Big Ten, and we'll do a little preview of Florida State and Georgia Tech. I don't see it as a preview because Florida State should handle business right out the gate. Elvin and Dublin. Deuces.